Welcome to TopNotch Countdown, where we dive deep into the wildest, weirdest, and most jaw-dropping stories from around the world. Today, we're venturing into the world of science, but not the kind with lab coats and polite theories. We're talking about the dark, twisted, and downright insane side of experimentation. Buckle up as we count down the top 10 craziest experiments ever conducted, some so shocking they changed the world, and others that never should have happened at all. Let's get into it. Number 10. The Little Albert Experiment from 1920. Imagine using a baby to prove fear can be conditioned. That's exactly what psychologist John B. Watson and his assistant Rosalie Rayner did. They exposed a 9-month-old boy known as Albert to a white rat. At first, he was fine. But then they paired the rat with a loud, terrifying noise. Over time, Albert began to cry just at the sight of the rat, and then at anything fluffy, rabbits, dogs, even a fur coat. There was no follow-up therapy, just trauma and a controversial legacy that still haunts psychology textbooks today. Number 9, it's the Monster Study, a name that says it all. In 1939, researchers Wendell Johnson and Mary Tudor wanted to explore how feedback affects speech, so they took 22 orphan children and split them into two groups. One group was praised for their speech, the other criticized, mocked, and told they sounded terrible. The result? Children with no stutter developed one, and others became deeply anxious. It was all psychological. The study was kept secret for decades, and when it finally came to light, many called it a cruel experiment disguised as science. At number 8 is a horrifying case of state-sponsored abuse, the Aversion Project in apartheid-era South Africa. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, the military targeted conscripted soldiers believed to be gay. Their treatment, chemical castration, forced hormone therapy, and electroshock conversion experiments. Many were subjected without consent. Thousands of lives were shattered, and the project remained in the shadows until whistleblowers came forward years later. It's a chilling reminder of how science can be weaponized to enforce hate. Now this one is different. Number 7 isn't officially real, but it's so widespread and disturbing it earns a place: the Russian sleep experiment. According to the urban legend, Soviet researchers in the 1940s exposed prisoners to a sleep-inhibiting gas for 15 days straight. At first, subjects seemed fine, but then came paranoia, self-mutilation, madness, and cannibalism. Whether true or not, it's been retold in books, films, and creepypastas. The scariest part? Even if this story is fiction, science has pushed the boundaries of sleep deprivation further than you might think. Number 6 is both tragic and disturbing: the David Reimer case, also known as the John Joan experiment. After a botched circumcision left baby David without a penis, psychologist Dr. John Money advised the parents to raise him as a girl. They did. David was renamed Brenda and given hormones, but it never felt right. He rejected the identity, suffered deep psychological trauma, and later transitioned back to male. David's heartbreaking story proved that gender identity isn't just about nurture, and exposed just how dangerous it is to treat humans like lab rats. Halfway in, number 5 takes us into the darkest corners of obedience. The Milgram experiment in the 1960s asked, how far would someone go to obey authority even if it meant hurting someone else? Volunteers were told to administer electric shocks to another person for wrong answers. The shocks weren't real, but the participants didn't know that. Many continued up to the maximum voltage despite screams of pain. Why? Because the scientists told them to. This chilling study showed how easily ordinary people can be convinced to do the unthinkable just because someone in a lab coat says it's okay. Coming in hot at number 4 is perhaps the most infamous psychological study ever: the Stanford Prison Experiment. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo turned a university basement into a mock prison and assigned students roles as guards or prisoners. Within days, the guards became sadistic. The prisoners broke down emotionally, and chaos reigned. Zimbardo, who acted as the warden, let it spiral until a colleague stepped in. The 2-week study was shut down after just 6 days. The takeaway: give someone power with no accountability and things can get scary fast. At number 3, we step into full-blown government conspiracy. Project MKUltra was a secret CIA program that ran through the 50s to the 70s. Its goal? Mind control. Seriously. The CIA dosed unwitting subjects, sometimes civilians, with LSD, hypnotics, and other drugs to study how to manipulate behavior. Some volunteers were recruited, others weren't even told. One man, Frank Olson allegedly jumped from a window after being unknowingly drugged. MKUltra wasn't just crazy, it was real, and it left behind a trail of broken minds and classified files. Number 2 is a horrifying chapter in American medical history. In the Tuskegee Syphilis Study, the U.S. government tracked the effects of untreated syphilis in African American men from 1932 to 1972. The catch? The men were never told they had syphilis. They were promised free health care, but were denied treatment even after penicillin became widely available. Over 100 men died, and many others suffered irreversible damage. This experiment went on for 40 years. It wasn't just unethical, it was a betrayal of trust that still echoes in public health today. And finally, at number 1, the darkest, most horrifying experiment of them all, Unit 731. During World War II, the Imperial Japanese Army carried out human experiments in occupied China. They conducted vivisections without anesthesia, infected prisoners with the plague, froze limbs to study frostbite, exposed men, women, and children to biological weapons. The goal? Military science. The results? Unspeakable suffering. And the twist? After the war, many of the doctors were never tried because the U.S. allegedly offered them immunity in exchange for their data. It's not just one of the craziest experiments, it's one of history's greatest crimes against humanity. And there you have it, 10 of the craziest, most shocking experiments ever conducted. Some were meant to unlock the mysteries of the mind, others were weapons disguised as science, but all of them pushed the limits of morality, ethics, and what it means to be human. Which one disturbed you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss more chilling countdowns like this one. Until next time, stay curious, but not too curious.